to Juneteenth's third Juneteenth flag raising. My name is Janice Campbell-Means. I'm one of the co-chairs for the Juneteenth Planning Committee and the chair of the BCCR, Bridgewater Communities for Civil Rights. Make sure you go to the table. We thank you all for joining us today. It's a bit windy, but hey, we'll take it. So now I would like to introduce Dr. Joyce Rain, who is going to do the Land Acknowledgement.
I humbly ask us to acknowledge the Wampanoag peoples whose lands we are on, and to think about what that means and what you know about this history in this place. The time has come to reckon with the history that we are a nation built by stolen bodies on stolen land. Each of you participating here is living on Indigenous lands, and wherever you are and wherever you go, it is your responsibility to find out whose lands you are on, acknowledge that space and the peoples. In these spaces, you'll find reminders in the names of rivers, streets, trails, or public areas. As current occupiers, this is an invitation for you to find out what these places mean in the Indigenous languages and find out the histories and deeper meanings. Bridgewater exists on a land that is part of the Setauket, or Bridgewater Purchase of 1649, which includes Bridgewater, East Bridgewater, West Bridgewater, and Brockton, or formerly North Bridgewater. Massaquatucket means the great pouring forth place where the rivers converge. The Setauket River is also part of the Wampanoag Canoe Passage. Bridgewater has also been called Titicut after the Massachusetts village at the place of the Great River, now called the Taunton River, which flows out to our oceans. The Commonwealth name Massachusetts means at the Great Hill. Land has meaning. Wampanoag and other Indigenous peoples of this area have been here for millennia, living as caretakers of these lands long before the 1620 landing of the Pilgrims and long before Columbus. Despite these many attempts at Indigenous erasure, they still live here. As living beings on this land, we should commit to knowing more accurate histories, to honor and incorporate Indigenous knowledges and other knowledges into our teachings and understandings. We need to understand the meaning of land as our relative and not a commodity. A land acknowledgement should not be taken lightly, but should act as disruption in order to undo Indigenous and other people of color's erasure. It is a call to action. A land acknowledgement urges us to be accountable to undo the colonial practices that continue to stand in the way of true equity for all. Katapatash.
Thank you, Joyce Rain. Can we give her another round of applause, please? Okay, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping before we get going. Restrooms are behind you, but through those black doors. Water is over here in the cooler. I'd like to thank all of our town officials who voted for the Juneteenth flag raising. Thank you to BCCR, First Parish UU Church, and now the Martin Richard Institute of Justice of Bridgewater State University. They are now all sponsors of the Juneteenth Planning Committee. Thank you to David Wilson and Brian Cordero for the sound, and Jeff Fowler and the BTVQ for the video. Thank you, as always, to Chris Hartman for raising our flag and supporting us. And thank you to the Bridgewater Police for always looking over us. Now, I would like to introduce to you our Vice President of the Town Council, Mr. Paul Murphy.
Am I speaking into this one? Does it matter? All of them? No, I'll push it closer. Okay. Thought I would have a walk-up song with that piano. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this historic and monument occasion. As the Vice President of the Bridgewater Town Council, it is my honor and privilege to stand before you today as we raise the Juneteenth flag in commemoration and celebration of a significant chapter in our nation's history. Juneteenth, also known as Emancipation Day or Freedom Day, marks the anniversary of June 19th, 1865, when the Union General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, and announced the end of slavery. Proclaiming freedom for all enslaved people in Texas, this announcement came 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, underscoring the struggle and delay in achieving freedom and justice for all. Today, as we raise the flag, we're not just honoring the past, we're acknowledging and enduring the spirit of contributions of Black Americans, their resilience, and their continuous fight for equity and justice. Juneteenth is a reminder of the progress we have made and the work that still lies ahead. This ceremony is a testament to our commitment as a community to recognize and celebrate our diversity, to educate ourselves and others about our shared history, and to strive for a future where freedom and justice are truly enjoyed by all. By raising this flag, we signal our dedication to these principles and our support for the ongoing pursuit of civil rights and social justice. Let us also remember that Juneteenth is not just a Black holiday, it is an American holiday. It is a day for all of us to come together and reflect on our history, learn from it, and work towards a more inclusive and equitable society. In conclusion, we see the Juneteenth flag rise today. Let it be a beacon of hope and a call to action. Let it remind us of the courage of those who fought for freedom and inspired us to continue in their legacy. Together, we can build a community where every individual is valued, respected, and free. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for your commitment to justice, equality, and unity. Let us celebrate Juneteenth with joy and purpose, and let that flag fly high as a symbol of our collective progress and aspirations. Thank you. I'll now read petition 2024-021, a resolution honoring Juneteenth. Whereas since 2021, Bridgewater Communities for Civil Rights and the First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church of Bridgewater have hosted successful Juneteenth events in Bridgewater with the support of the Town of Bridgewater, the Bridgewater Public Library, Bridgewater State University, and many other members of the community. And whereas Juneteenth Committee, in cooperation with those mentioned above, and the Martin Richard Institute for Social Justice, is currently planning a 4th annual Juneteenth celebration. And whereas in May of 2021, the Town of Bridgewater designated June 19th a town holiday. And in June 2022 and 23, the Town Council unanimously supported the raising of the Juneteenth flag from June 15th through June 30th, also in 2024. Just doesn't say it here. Whereas the council, as leaders of our town, can have significant impact in supporting the celebration of liberty and justice for all with its support of Juneteenth 2024. Whereas symbols and seemingly small actions can have great meaning. Through these actions, all who pass through Bridgewater will see that we honor the history of African Americans and recognize their contribution to American history. Now therefore, the Bridgewater Town Council declares June 17, 2024, a day of commemoration and celebration once again, and proclaims that Juneteenth flag be flown with the United States flag in front of the Academy Building in the Town of Bridgewater from June 17th through the 30th, 2024. Thank you.
Okay, so just a little hiccup. I want to say thank you to Mark and Alexis for taking the pictures. I see her wandering around. And if there's anybody else that I missed, thank you, thank you, thank you. So now, I would ask everyone to please stand and turn to the back of your program, where we will now sing one verse of the Black National Anthem.
As the listening skies, let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the darkness has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Now, Chris Hartman, where are you? Oh, there we go. I ask that you continue standing. Sorry. As we now have the flag for Juneteenth.
Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you, Chris Hartman, and thank you, Robert Richardson, for giving us a little extra something. Okay, everybody can have a seat. Because mine's supposed to be inspirational, but it's going to be inspirational / speech because I got triggered on Facebook this morning. So bear with me. When I look at this flag, I think of my ancestors who at a time could not even imagine such a day like this would happen. I often think of the African American community that existed here in Bridgewater. Yes, once upon a time, African Americans were a huge community that existed in Bridgewater, who were landowners and business owners. This community knew each family and the who, what, when of it all. As a child, if you were out doing something, that you weren't supposed to be doing, or somewhere where you weren't supposed to be, before you could make up a story to walk through your front doors, they already knew. I know I stand on the wings of all my ancestors because they endured and sacrificed so much for each generation so that we can have better and do better. I stand here and acknowledge the sacrifices of the African American community in Bridgewater that helped mold me. Yes, I know that I keep repeating endured and sacrifices because do you really know? Do you really know? It can't be discussed in schools because some find it offensive. Can't always talk about it because why do you keep bringing up the past? Can't discuss because we are all Americans and we should only have one holiday. And Juneteenth is divisive because it's all about the past and who wants to bring up the past. Really? Really? The raising of this flag and the celebration of freeing enslaved people keeps racism going? Really? So what is it when an African American gets accosted when delivering Amazon packages? Being an Uber Lyft driver, delivering Uber Eats, jogging, buying a home, trying to enter their own condo or apartment building, being followed in a store. What is that? Is that because of that? Is that because of the Juneteenth celebration? I don't think so. I could go on, and some of you know that I could. But please do not tell me that the raising of this flag and the celebrating of the freeing of all enslaved people keeps racism alive. What keeps racism alive is the ignoring of all of the history that makes up this country of ours, keeps racism alive. In the words of Fannie Lou Hamer, who delivered her speech at the founding of the National Women's Political Caucus in Washington, D.C. on July 10th, 1971, she said, "Nobody's free until everybody's free." Now, I would like to bring up our wonderful students from Bridgewater Rainham Regional High School. They will all come up together. It's Alicia Alexis, Genesis Gilla, and Kendall Raymond. Aisha Alexis, I'm so sorry. Come on up.
Hello, good afternoon. I would like to start off for Juneteenth. It is about freedom. Juneteenth is about love. Juneteenth is also about culture. Culture is the behind-the-scenes ingredients that make an individual's experience their own, living on their own terms and living the chapters of their lives as they celebrate their identity. Culture defines who we are as a person and brings a community together. As our culture evolves, we shine a light on what reveals our values, our celebrations, and those things unique to us. What matters to a person shows up in their culture and provides a lens to better understand them. Juneteenth is not just about Texas and not just about America, but ultimately it represents all of humanity learning about each other and enjoying each other's culture. Loving one another, walking in our freedom, in our inalienable rights. It's about coming together, honoring and respecting each other, helping each other, standing up for each other, wiping each other's tears, being fair with one another, holding each other up as we walk through life together.
Only through the 13th Amendment did emancipation end slavery throughout the United States. But not everyone in Confederate territory would immediately be free. Even though the Emancipation Proclamation was made effective in 1863, it could not be implemented in places still under Confederate control, like in Texas. As a result, in Texas, enslaved people would not be free until 2.5 years later. Freedom finally came on June 19, 1865, when about 2,000 Union troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas, the Army announced that over 250,000 enslaved black people in the state of Texas were free by executive decree. This day was known as Juneteenth by the newly freed people in Texas. I believe freedom is an extraordinary privilege, the ability to make choices about one's own life, the power and right to act, speak, and think without restraint. Our ancestors fought for our freedom today. They fought for the right to live as free individuals, to make their own decisions, and to live their lives as they see fit. I thank them for their allies for this because now I get to attend school and receive the same education as other children and teenagers, regardless of race, religion, or color. This time next year, I will be a high school graduate, and I would like to show appreciation to those who came before me to pave the way, and I thank them for their strength and their perseverance. And I thank you for fighting for our freedom.
Today, we're celebrating Juneteenth, a holiday that marks the day when enslaved African Americans in the U.S. finally gained their freedom. I really want to talk about one of the most important parts of Juneteenth, love. Usually, when we talk about love, we're thinking of a family member or a partner, but I think it also takes love to value someone that some members of society deemed worthless. When we love and accept each other as equals, we're more likely to work together to make the world a better place. We're on the same team, fighting for fairness and equality for all people, for each of us. Juneteenth would have never been possible without a love for humanity and a respect for the law. African Americans would have never gained their freedom if total strangers didn't have the love within them and didn't see the value to make a change, to do the right thing. While we celebrate Juneteenth, we should remember how powerful love is. We need to remember the compassion that made people like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass fight for freedom and equality. We should honor those before us who love their neighbors when they really didn't have to. Let that love motivate you today in your lives, every day. Not just with racial matters, but with all matters, all issues, all circumstances, in every way and every day. We should make an effort to radiate love and peace to our friends, neighbors, classmates, coworkers, strangers we encounter, and even our enemies. Remember that Juneteenth isn't just a celebration of freedom. It's a reminder to be loving and kind. Fight for those who can't fight for themselves. If we all put in an honest effort, the world could be a happier place, a better place, and a fair place. The first steps in change always start with you. It starts with each of us. Thank you for choosing to be an agent of change. Thank you for choosing to be an agent of love, freedom, and celebrating culture. Thank you.
Can we please give it up again for Aisha Alexis, Genesis Julia, and Kendall Raymond, because it is the young ones that need to keep it moving. Now I bring to you a musical selection from Robert Richardson. It is the attachment to your program entitled Let My People Go. What is going to happen is that as he sings, you are going to repeat, Let My People Go.
All right. As you can see, taken from the Bible stories that we all heard of when we were younger, how Moses went down to Egypt to get the Israelis safe again. You've seen the movie with the waters dividing the ocean and Pharaoh and his army pursuing them. What was the name of that movie? I forgot. Chariot something. Anyhow, this goes along with that story, as most of the stories of our progress have been quoted by stories from the Bible. And so we speak this time, not of Moses, but Mr. President. Of course, that would be President Abraham Lincoln in our times. So, if you will just join us on the, what they say, call and answer. You be the answer, all right? I'll do the call. When slave ships sail to American shores, let my people go. Oppressed so hard with pain and sores, let my people go. Go down, Mr. President, way down in Egypt land, tell old Britain, let my people go. You're going to join me on Let My People Go? Okay. This time I want to hear you sing it again. All right? When slave ships sail to American shores, your turn. There you go. Oppressed so hard in pain and sores, let my people go down, Mr. President, way down in the Carolinas, tell all the government, let my emancipation and proclamation, let no more slave life documentation. Let my people go down, Mr. President, way down in the Dixie land, tell all the government. Okay, thank you. Very nice. We'll even skip the chorus rehearsal.
Okay, so thank you to all our speakers for your time and your speeches, which we heard loud and clear. And thank you to you, our audience, for being here and supporting us. Thank you. There'll be a fundraiser at the Black Hat Brewery on Wednesday, June 19th from 3:30 to 8. Please come and support. And then, of course, there's the Juneteenth celebration. Saturday, June 22nd, rain date June 23rd, from 1 to 6 on the grounds of Bridgewater State University at University Park. Once again, thank you for coming out.